Marcus, who is the father, the patriarch, the CEO at the time. Remember, Jonathan, who was the child's dad, Jonathan is the vice president of Daystar, and it's been almost like an ongoing understanding, even before this, that Jonathan was next in line to take over Daystar if Marcus was to step down. In the email given out in, about, I think it was July or August of 2021, it was said that Jonathan is not going to take over Daystar in the effect of his absence, that Joni will take over Daystar. And that was, of course, to Jonathan's surprise. And all this time, Jonathan and his wife feel like this has all been reactionary or retaliation for them coming off on Pete, blaming Pete, suspecting Pete of doing things towards their child. This has been going on for years. Now, this is where the story gets crazy for me, at least. 3 months after Marcus Lamb writes this email to the family, and in the email, I wonder if we can pull it up real quick. I'm reading some parts of the email. Oh, I do have it. Here we go. Oh, it's uploading. So during the email, Marcus makes some very strong statements, some very outlandish statements, and then also added that, they need to trust him like he trusted God. He also made statements saying that this company started with me and Joni. It will ultimately end with me. It will ultimately end with me and Joni, like basically saying, we started this without you. We definitely can run this thing without you. It also, I'm reading some of the footnotes of it. Just a lot of, don't doubt my resolve. Don't question my determinations. There can only be one leader. Either you trust me as God's leader or you don't. Your mother and I built Daystar without you, and we can run it without you. That would break my heart, but there are consequences for actions and attitudes. Don't doubt my resolve. Don't question my determination. These are emphases that were made in the email. The email ends with an assignment for his family to make a written list of every hurt, every slight, and every bad word or deed that has happened to you by a family member, including your mother or me. And if it is warranted, then we can deal with it. Okay. This was unfortunately 3 months after this email. Oh, and this information is coming from the Royce Report. The Royce Report is one of the first people to share this information out and get this information out. It's been crazy ever since they've released it out too, because it doesn't end here. Unfortunately, 3 months after Marcus's email, he passed. He passed of COVID. And the email even shares like a succession plan should Marcus die. So it's weird because it's one of those things where they were making plans and like, here's what we're going to do moving forward. If I pass, Joni's going to take over. Joni's going to run Daystar, and then he passes. So this is like one of those crazy situations. And so Joni, Jonathan said that prior to this time, Marcus and Joni had communicated to the whole family that Jonathan would be the successor. But the email stated that Joni would replace Marcus as president instead. And Jonathan believes that this change was punishment for accusing Pete of doing anything to his daughter. He also warned them under no uncertain terms to stop playing judge, jury, or executioner towards Pete. So basically, during this whole time, Joni and Marcus defended Pete, even went as far as Joni waking up one morning on a vacation time when they were all eating breakfast together with the kids. Joni came and said, God spoke to me last night and told me that Pete didn't do anything. And Marcus just clapped. It's odd because remember, this is their granddaughter. They should be moving. Grandparents should be moving heaven or hell to protect their grandkids, right? My mom would kill my mom is scared of animals. Like I've never seen her like really fool with animals. You know, she's in a new marriage where she's got a dog, and it's hilarious to see her with a dog. She is not an animal person at all. However, if any of her grandkids, if any of them were caught in any kind of situation, if a kangaroo had them in an arm lock or a headlock, I don't know where we would be. For a kangaroo to grab one of our kids or my cousins or my nieces, if she saw that, she'd jump and she'd fight that kangaroo with everything she has to protect her babies. That's just how she feels about it. She loves them so much. She talks to me all the time. And when I talk to her, not all the time, but when I talk to her, she's always talking about her babies. So it seems weird to me that they wouldn't protect their children first, or even investigate the situation with the interest of the child first. And it really hurts my heart when I hear stories like this of where we don't protect children's interests. We don't protect the safety of children. We don't protect to make sure that nothing happens to the kid. Like, how can we be like, we're running these ministries and these programs, these businesses, and now all these companies, all these groups, I'm hearing more and more, of course, as you get older and you get back into ministry, I'm hearing all these sad stories about the body of Christ and how they're falling and failing in different ways. It's just heartbreaking to hear. But this one really hurts my heart because this involves a child, and that a powerful family member connected to the child would rather just sweep it underneath the rug than investigate it and find out what really happens, which makes me question this. Okay. And it's funny because I've talked to some sources who are close to the Daystar brand. Like I said, I had a friend that actually was on the channel for a time, I think maybe 2.5 years. And I asked people who are involved strongly in ministry, because it's like a little, it's not a clique, but, everybody knows somebody. The funny thing is, most people said, you know who Pete is. That's what people keep telling me. You know who Pete is. And I'm like, I don't, me? And I'm like, yeah, you know who Pete is. And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. I've never met the Lambs. I've never met anybody connected to Daystar except my one friend. And then they were like, oh yeah, you know such and such, you know this person. I said, oh yeah, you know this person, yeah. So you know who Pete is. And I'm like, oh, that makes me scared, because I'm like, I know who Pete is, and I'm racking my brain, and I can't think for a second who Pete is. So I don't even want to know at this point. I don't want to know who Pete is, but it makes me ask this question: why would you protect Pete in this matter? Like, if Pete did something, at least let us go to and this has happened in Texas. At least let us go to the police and file a report. Right? I wonder if, and this is what most people are thinking too, I wonder if they have some kind of if Pete has something on the Lambs.